Thank you for a nice introduction. It's a pleasure to see you here after some time, face to face. I hope you will find your way back to your seats and enjoy my presentation. Unlike the previous presentations, this one will be more about real life, not the vision. So today I would like to talk about ABIS family, and the topic is more than just a powerful biometric engine. As you probably know, ABIS acronym stands for Automated Biometric Identification System, but I believe that our product portfolio, ABIS product portfolio nowadays is much more than just this, than just a biometric identification. And this will be the topic of my presentation today. So, how it all started. At the beginning, there was a developer who actually found a scanner, and he was not satisfied with the way how it worked. So he developed his own algorithm for fingerprint recognition and submitted it to FVC 2004, which was a fingerprint verification contest organized by University of Bologna, and won some gold medals. So his name was Jan Lunter, and immediately after, encouraged by this success, he established Innovatrics company. But that was the beginning, and it was just let's say, a simple verification algorithm, and the way from verification to ABIS was a hard way. It took us almost 3 years to develop an identification algorithm which works in a large scale, which was accurate enough, which was fast enough, because you have to get from 1,000 of matching per second to millions if you would like to have a real-life ABIS. You also have to solve the issues with a large scale. So you have to solve issues with partitioning, you have to solve the issues with load balancing, but we were successful, and the new AFIS, the first family member of ABIS family, the matching cluster, was born in 2007. Then we continue to develop new features. Usually the development was driven by you, our customers. So we were listening to the feedback from the customers, and we have developed new, more modern interface, which was trendy at that time. It was MQ. Message queue interface, and also we have integrated our solution with the database, so we were able to store all ABIS data, or AFIS that time, in the database. And as a next step, we realized that we will need some user interface. That time, our ABIS was a console application. It has a very nice performance. It was running on the server, but the only interface was either the console or SDK. So it was not very user-friendly for operations and administration. So we have developed a new user interface, and not only that, we have also developed a new tool, which is called comparison tool, and you know it maybe also as adjudicator tool, and that allows us to compare biometric data side by side in details. The next step, we focus on civil identification. Unlike other ABIS vendors or AFIS vendors who started in a criminal domain, our first project were mostly in a civil domain. We are talking about ID cards issuance, election, or driver's license, for example. So the module which we need to develop was deduplication and workflows. What it is, we need an interface which will allow us to organize applicant or registration records belonging to the same person in so-called biometric individuals. So we have developed an intuitive interface which is able to offer an interface for operator to compare the records and to decide about they are belonging together or not. We also have a system which will balance the workload among different operators. We have the system for roles and rights, so we can have operators of different power. In 2017, there was a huge step forward. Actually, our AFIS became ABIS, because We have launched facial identification, and we also stepped to the new domain of criminal investigation. It was just a little step. We launched our first latent fingerprint editor. Then the year after, we have completed our biometric portfolio by IRIS, and we also had a lot of projects of a large scale and real-time deployment. So we have introduced a new monitoring interface which allows us to monitor real-time, monitor ABIS in real time. Then 2019, we won one of the biggest projects in company history, the election project in Africa. And we have developed a specific application for mobile registration. And this was running on the mobile registration kit and on Android, and it allowed us to collect data in field. And we have also developed a new module for voter registration, which was, for example, able to identify minors. The same year, we have launched the first version of case management, which allows us to store and process biometric evidence. Back in 2020, we have launched a new function for criminal enrollment. Unlike civil enrollment, criminal enrollment is much more complex. You have to enroll also rolled fingerprints, palm prints, different photos, mugshot photos, profile photos, and also scanning the fingerprints card, digitalize all the records from archives. So this is something we have developed 2 years ago. It was always driven by the projects that we have with our customer in different regions. And last year, we have launched a new module, so-called remote document issuance. This is a joint project together with our DOT team, who is developing digital onboarding mostly for enterprise. This is the application of the same technology for government. This allows us to cover the use cases like e-visa issuance or document renewal, and we are using, for example, selfie and liveness here. I will talk a little bit more to the details later. Also, we have, after more than 10 years, we have changed the way how ABIS is integrated, so we changed the API. Instead of MQ, which was a little bit obsolete, we have introduced new REST API, which, as we like to say, allows you to integrate with ABIS in 15 minutes. But we still offer the trainings. And this year, the new things that we have launched in ABIS family is video investigation module. We have realized that it's quite difficult to process faces from the video. So together with the Smart Face team, we have developed a module which allows us to extract the best face from the video evidence, usually for the crime scene. And also we have developed a new SDK. After more than 15 years on the market, we have merged together our existing SDK and created a new one, which is focused on enrollment. So this is our family nowadays. I hope it will be still growing in the future. It shares the same engine, but it can have a different application. What is very important to say, the modules and the functions which we were adding in the past, it was always inspired by our customer, by the feedback from our customer. Our ABIS family of modules and related products is designed to support ABIS. We have no intention to sell separate modules for enrollment or voter registration without ABIS. Our intention is mostly to make your life with ABIS easier. So you can pick up what you want from our portfolio, and you can put it to your solution, and we can even tailor it to your need. We have the team of solution managers, delivery engineers, and also developers who are able to customize our product and modules to what you need. The next part of my presentation, I would like to talk a little bit about our dark side of our ABIS family, which is criminal investigation. And I would like to introduce you the modules which are new. New, it means that we have launched them on the market for maybe last 2-3 years, so since the last BioCon. It all started with latent editor. Then the next one is the case management. Then we have developed the criminal enrollment, which was not easy because, as you probably know, we are using web technology for everything, and doing the rolled prints was really challenging. And the last is the video investigation. So if we are talking about the enrollment of criminal suspect, what does it mean? We are able to enroll cards. This can be easily customized. So this is one format that we had on the project in Africa, but we can change it to any other format of the card, and we are able to process them using a paper scanner and then use them for matching in ABIS. Then we have a new module for latent, for rolled and palm prints. We can add any standard scanner which is on the market easily and supported on the solution. What is very important, we do not limit the number of stations by license because it's a web-based enrollment. You can just install the simple service on the client PC and connect via a web browser to your application either in an intranet or in the cloud, and you can use it for enrollment. We are also able to enroll mugshot photos and profile photos or any other photos that you might need. And we support also so-called SMT annotations, which are scars, marks, and tattoos. We have implemented the standard methodology developed by NIST for this use case. We are talking about the criminal case management. What you can see here on the screen is the current generation of the latent print editor. It was developed this year. We have slightly simplified the interface, so now it's really clean the area. On the left side, you have different tools that you can apply to the fingerprint or even face. And on the right side, you can see the history of actions, what happened during the editing of the fingerprints. And we also added a function to save the snapshots. So you can use it like the save function in a computer game. If you feel safe, you can save the situation and then continue editing. If you are not satisfied with the result, you can resume back and continue from your last save point. This latent editor and case management is directly integrated with search. So anytime you can search for duplicates in the ABIS, and if you are not happy with the result, you can continue editing. The new features in the criminal case management we have added recently are also the videos and photos and also SMT annotations. And our editor right now can also edit a facial photo. So you can use some filters to apply on the facial photo to make it easier to find by ABIS. The new module for video investigation, it was launched this year, is the newest ABIS family member. And it has a lot of tools for playing the videos. We are able to process the video faster than real time. This is very important because the speed matters. If you have a crime, you have to process the evidence as soon as possible. So with our solution, you can upload the videos to the system, and we are able to process them very fast and extract the best photo from the video. The goal is to extract the best photo of the people who will appear in the video and use them for facial identification against ABIS. We have also added a function to annotate objects in the video and events in the video. The next domain where we are really very familiar with is ABIS for civil identification. During the last 3 years, we have developed a lot of new modules. We have developed voter registration, civil enrollment, remote document issuance, and enrollment SDKs. Those are the modules I would like to focus on in the next few slides. So the minor identification, for me, this was always a little bit of magic, because there was a situation on the project when customer was complaining to us that they have an issue that people are registering their kids as voters, and then voters lists are public in some countries, so the people could see on the streets that there are kids registered as voters. And this was a big issue for electoral committee, because the credibility of elections was threatened. So we asked our R&D if we can do something with that, and they came with a solution almost instantly. And we found some photos of minors and adults. We used the public photos. We didn't use the actual photo of the people from the country. We just labeled them, and we trained a new model to classify whether the facial photo is minor or adult. So every voter got something like a minor score on the list. And if this score was about the threshold, so there was a high probability that the photo belongs to the minor, it was presented to the operator who works for electoral committee, and they could decide whether this voter registration will be eliminated from voter register or not. The next big module, or actually this is a standalone application, is our solution for mobile enrollment. It was designed for Android, but it can run on any Android device. On the right side, you can see some standard consumer devices like phones and tablets, but also we can run on mobile registration kit, what you can see in the left corner, or this is a handheld typically used by the police. So the use case for this one can be border control, for example, or screening in field by the police. And what is important to say, we can easily customize this application. So if you will need a mobile application for enrollment, we have this in our portfolio. We can easily customize it. We already have experience with a lot of devices which are popular on the market, like, for example, integrated biometric scanners. We are able also to print receipts. We are able to scan the documents. And we are also able to read ID documents and using our dot product to extract the data from the documents and use it in this mobile enrollment application. This solution is fully autonomous, so it can operate also in offline environment, so it can collect the data offline and export them when it is bring to online environment, or it can use a USB stick to export and import of the data. The next use case, which it's quite new, is the concept that we have launched for remote document issuance. Here you can see the scheme, how it works. You can have a government portal or application that is provided by your government, which will inform you that you can apply for the new ID because it needs a renewal, or you will request it because you lost your ID, for example. Then you can use your smartphone or even web browser, and you can do the ID scan, selfie, and send the data to the national registry. Then the data will be processed and checked against your past record. We will analyze the authenticity of the photo of the document. We will do the liveness check, And if everything is okay, we will approve the application, and then you can get the document by post, for example, and you don't have to visit enrollment site in person. Even if you live in Bratislava, it's painful to visit the enrollment site, but imagine that you are living in some country like Indonesia and you want to apply for an e-visa, and you have to travel sometimes 2 or 3 days to the capital to apply for a visa and then go back. This solution is designed exactly for that use case, so we are able to provide a solution for e-visa issuance, for a remote e-visa issuance using our technology. How it looks like in the application, so the mobile part is similar to digital onboarding for banking, and the backend part, you can see that we analyze different factors for risk assessment. This record was actually declined. It's quite difficult to see, but the red thing on the top means it's declined. And it was declined because it's not unique, and it was supposed to be unique. And also this photo, and this is, there is no chance you can see it, but the photo of my colleague was taken from the screen of the monitor. So that's why the passive liveness is in red, because that check didn't pass. So it's not the actual photo of the person. And this screen is presented to the operator, and he can then decide what to do next, or even report it to the authorities. We still have some customers and integrators who are not using our great mobile application for enrollment or web enrollment that we have for criminal identification, and they have their own solution. For this use case, we have a portfolio of our SDKs. And as you can see on the left side, right now we have segmentation SDK to process the segment, the fingerprints, detect left-right hands, do the quality check. Then we have IDKit SDK, which allows you to do small-scale identification or verification of fingerprint faces or irises. And we have an iFace SDK, which allows you, for example, to check ICAO parameters. So if you're wearing glasses, or if your head pose is correct, etc. Nowadays, it's quite complicated to integrate those, and it takes at least 1 day of training and then a few days of, or maybe even weeks of development to integrate it correctly. We provide it as a libraries, and our customers have to integrate it into their application, enrollment application, or their middleware when they are processing biometric data. We believe that this procedure can be simplified, so we have launched a new SDK where we have an enrollment service which is using a modern gRPC API, and it embeds our SDKs into a single service which provides all necessary functions for enrollment. And maybe this is the most important part of my presentation, which is not about the new family members, but this is about what's inside. Maybe the most important thing is ABIS engine, because if we don't have a good engine inside, you will probably not need other ABIS components that we are offering together with it. Then I would like to talk a little bit about integration and architecture. The most important in the ABIS is matching accuracy. That's why you purchase ABIS, because you want to have a high-performing identification. What you can see here are the results from MyNext benchmark, which is the only one in the world which is up to date and which is doing the minutia matching. And this is the recent submission from this month. And you can see that right now our matching algorithm, minutia matching algorithm, is #1 in the world in terms of accuracy, which is very important for ABIS, because during the identification it's minutia matching which is happening inside. And I would like to point out it's not only the most accurate, but the creation or template extraction time is the shortest among all those leading vendors. So we can use the same technology or algorithm also for mobile devices, Android terminals, or embedded devices. We have also submitted to PFT3 benchmark, which is measuring proprietary templates. We are also top ranked there. We have some gold, some silver, and some bronze medals, let's say. It depends because there are different categories in PFT3 benchmark, so it's difficult to say who is the number one. In Minex, it's pretty clear. And by the end of the year or the beginning of the beginning year, we would like to also submit to the last benchmark where we are not present yet, which is the new one. It's a benchmark for latent fingerprint, ELFT, and I believe that we will also have a good results in that benchmark, which is important for criminal ABIS identification. This new algorithm will be available from ABIS 8.3, which will be launched in October. There is another nice feature of the new algorithm, and our new algorithm is scale invariant. What does it mean? When you have children and they are registered to ABIS in the different age, their fingerprints are growing. And the bigger is the difference of the age, the more difference is also the size. So we had some issues in the past with ABIS version 7 to identify minors, especially if they were of unknown age. Because if we know the age, we can try to do some approximation and change the size of the fingerprints. So the red line over there, it's the line with unknown age. The accuracy was approximately, the error rate was close to 30%, which is really a lot. And with age adjustment, it was around 12%. And the new algorithm works much better. So even without any age adjustment, the new algorithm is better than the old one. And if we add age adjustment, we can get below 5%. And this test was done on a very difficult data set. The application is not only aging of children, but also mobile fingerprints, which are captured using DPI, which is not exactly 500, or if you are comparing scanned cards against the live prints, and you are not sure about the DPI of the scanned card. This is something really fresh. It was published during the night, this night. We have submitted to IREX a couple of weeks ago, but only today NIST released the new results. And what you can see here is Innovatrics position. In this chart, on the vertical axis, you have a false identification rate. So the lower you are, the better it is. And on this axis, you have the speed. So the more left, the better it is. So as you can see, our position is really well balanced. And we are right now the number 3 in accuracy, and we are almost the best in terms of speed among those who are accurate. What is important to say is that our template has a real production size. It's only 1 kilobyte. Some of the vendors have the templates greater than 50K, which it's quite difficult to use for a large scale. And also our extraction time is very fast. It's less than 500 milliseconds. And the matching time that we have measured on a real life servers, it's more than 10 millions per server core. So if you have a server of 40 cores, we can reach 40 million iris comparisons per second on such a server. And we have not finished here. We plan new submission in 3 or 4 months. So we believe that we can still improve the accuracy and also the search time of iris. We have in the ABIS 8, we have also launched a new API. I will not spend much time explaining this, but it's important to say that now you can do integration really easily using our training. We provide also online training and samples. And we have a very nice webinar. If you are interested in REST API, you can have a look at it. It's available online. Then the change to the architecture we did in the last version is that we have introduced ABIS galleries. What does it mean? In the old version of ABIS, you can search either the whole ABIS or listed IDs. In the new version, you can physically organize records which are stored in ABIS into galleries. So you can achieve the full performance of ABIS with a limited set of the data. Some applications which are on this picture is that, for example, if you don't have enough criminal records, you can assign lower amount of servers to them and higher amount to civil. Or you have 10 fingerprints, so you need more servers for fingerprints than you need for face, because you have just one face. So you can scale up your system to your need. And of course, to different galleries, you can define a different way how you will use the identification. So for example, different rotation, different speed, different identification parameters. So, okay, I'm running out of time. I'm sorry. Just last few slides about what we are working on right now. I will not talk about some big visions here. This is something which is, let's say, in progress. We plan to launch this next year. We will call it probably ABIS 9. What you can see here is the new user interface for split screen and applicant detail. We are changing the design and the layout of our user interface so it is more user-friendly. We are also developing a new standalone enrollment station. It will be a lightweight. So it will run also on PC in offline mode, so it can be used also on, for example, Windows tablets for Windows registration kits. And the last feature we are working on right now is the DNA modality. So we will introduce DNA modality to the API, but also we will have a new screen where you can see the DNA and use it for comparison. For example, you can use it for kinship testing, so you can test maternity or paternity, siblings or twins. This is a use case if you have a child and you are not sure to whom it belongs. Yeah, it's sometimes can be funny, but so thank you. That's all from me today, and I would like to invite you to see our demos during the break, which are just behind you. We have on the right side, it's a civil, and on the left side, it's a criminal identification. So thank you.
Stay. Thank you, Matus. Stay with me. You guys always want to run away from me. We have a lot of questions on Slido. You stirred a lot of interest. I'll get the first one out. Are the slides going to be available after the presentation? Can people get the slides?
Yes.
Okay, great. So before I go to Slido, one thing that always bothers me is legislation. I don't think you need a GDPR consent to be, especially in criminal investigations. That probably you don't get that. But how much does regulation make your life complicated?
Actually, it really depends on the country, but not that much, because usually all those things are defined in the tenders, which are public. So it's already solved when the tender is issued. So we deliver the system which is already compliant. But there are also rules for criminal investigation. So, for example, if somebody is registered and he is not guilty, after some time, he must be erased from the system.
I see. It's a tough life. Let's go to some of the Slido questions. They just disappeared on me real quick, but one of the ones that I was super interested in was about UX. It said that a lot of the features that you introduced are kind of UX-based. Do you develop or do you do UX and design yourself, or is it a third party that you're using? Do you have an in-house UX team?
Yeah, it's our own design. It's designed by our UX team. I don't know if they are here, but I would like to thank them for a nice design. They do a great job.
So tell us a little bit about what are the next steps or modules on your roadmap? What is coming in the close future?
Yes, I have presented the DNA modality, then mobile enrollment on PC. And we would like to improve, because we already have a lot of modules, so we would like to bring some new functions and feature and improve the quality of our existing modules. But what will bring us the future, it depends also on you, our customers. So if you have some need to develop a new module which somehow relates to ABIS, for example, border control use case, we are open to develop a new module and offer it as a part of the ABIS family.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to the scanners. Are you guys hardware agnostic, or are there specific demands that you have on the hardware?
Actually, we are hardware agnostic, and we can work with any standard scanner.
Okay. One last one before I let you go. Have you developed support for newer .NET 6 so that those of us who embed our own applications can move away from Windows dependence?
Actually, good question, but I really don't know.
All right. But
you can ask my colleagues at the demo stand.
Right. So the demo stands are in the back, and you're going to get a chance to talk to people during the break, during the lunch, but also tomorrow you're going to see some of those on stage. So that's when we're going to answer that question. Matus, thank you so much. It was a very good presentation. Thanks.
Thank you.